We welcome Kansas student athletes to the stage, Mitch Lightfoot and Quentin Grimes. We'll follow our normal procedure. If you have a question, raise your hand. It's easiest if you make sure I see it so I can get a microphone to you. Please direct your question into the microphone, and it's helpful if you direct questions at a specific student athlete as we go through this portion. And we'll go ahead and open it up to questions for Kansas student athletes.
This can go for either Quentin or Mitch, but Auburn's been on kind of a bit of a run here, obviously making their way, winning the SEC tournament, winning 8 or 9 straight games here. What kind of challenges does that present for preparing for a team that's kind of on a bit of a hot streak in March?
Yeah, definitely got to come in with a right mindset, focus on the game plan. We know they're really good, like to play really fast, like to get up a lot of threes. They can spread the court in different ways. So definitely got to be alert of the shooters and make sure that everybody's in the right positions defensively.
Mitch?
Yeah, like he said, they shoot the ball really well. They're really fast. They like to shoot behind ball screens and dribble handoffs. So they do a lot of things well. They have big guys inside that can shoot too. So there's a bunch of things that go into our scouting report that we have to lock into in order to guard them as best as possible.
Mitch, you're one of the old guys on this squad, despite being just a junior. Just having been here before, what kind of, I guess, advice or what would you tell the younger guys as we head deeper into the tournament?
Telling the younger guys, like my message has been like enjoy it. You're here. This is what you work for. I think they've done a great job of preparing themselves for it. It's a big moment. There's a lot. I would say there's pressure, but this is what you train for. This is what you spend all those hours working on your game for. So if we can just listen to our scout report and listen to our coaches, I think they'll be okay.
Quentin, just take us through what it was like. Have all 5 of you guys that started making your NCAA debut on Thursday. Did you guys talk, or how'd you calm the jitters down, or what was it like?
Yeah, it was great just knowing that we had 4 freshmen that never been in this experience, and Diedrich was his first time as well. Just everybody going up. There was nerves in the first couple of minutes, as you could see when they kind of made those couple of shots, but I feel like after the first time out, everybody kind of settled down. When you stick to the game plan, everything started flowing offensively. And I think we just had to get the first few minutes out the way, and then everybody just played basketball how they knew how to play.
Quentin, just building off what you just said, just this whole experience of being here, just, what's it being like for you and the other freshmen first time?
Yeah, it's been great so far. Just really everybody, all the freshmen are really enjoying it. We kind of got that first game out the way. Now we can really just start focused on just playing basketball and just for the ultimate title, just to get to the Final Four and hopefully just win every game. We got to take it every game at a time, and Auburn is next, so we just got to prepare for them.
More questions? Okay, thank you, gentlemen. We'll await Coach Self's arrival.
Brenda could take her on her way down here.
Well, self is supposed to go to 3. We welcome Coach Self from Kansas to the dais. A reminder to let us know when you have a question. We'll get a microphone holder to you, and if you direct your question into the mic, that would be very helpful. Questions for Coach Self?
Coach, I was just curious with starting 5 guys who'd never played in an NCAA tournament game. Obviously, the result was good, but was there some anxiety and some jitters to get out, or did they just go into it smoothly?
Well, I thought we played better as the game went on, but I if you have some jitters, which I know we did, try to take them out on the defensive end as much as possible, and I think we were pretty good at doing that yesterday. But I think they all handled it pretty well. That's it's going to be totally different, playing speed like we'll play tomorrow. But I thought our guys handled the moment pretty well.
Coach, Auburn's been on a bit of a run here, obviously, with their run through the SEC tournament, won 8 or 9 straight games now. How much of a challenge is it to kind of prepare for a team that's been this hot in March?
Well, I think that obviously it's a challenge. I mean, but anybody that's won a game in the tournament can make a case that they're probably playing well at that moment. So, but they're probably as hot as anybody in the tournament, in their respective league, which is so good to run off 8 in a row, and then I think yesterday was the 9th, if I'm not mistaken. And they beat a team yesterday, obviously that went down to the last possession that we played them earlier in the year in Kansas City. So, they're hot. They're hot. But, you can look at it that, I don't know that we're hot over time, but we played pretty well yesterday. So I can convince our guys that we're hot too.
Lindsay Schnell, USA Today. Bill, I wondered 2 things about coaching such a young team. First of all, has it taken a toll on you? Like, do you have more gray hair? Do you have to dye your hair now? And then also, how does it make you a better coach when you're constantly teaching guys?
I'm not going to say I haven't purchased Just for Men at some point in time over the last several months, but I do think that at our place it's a little different than a lot of places. I mean, there's some places like that is, we don't use youth as an excuse. So, regardless of what's happened to us this year, if you're out there, you still got to deliver and perform. And I think our guys have accepted that pretty well. We haven't played to the level that past teams have, but I think also believe that there's some reasons why we haven't. But I'm not going to say youth is one of them. I just think we haven't had our full complement of guys. But I'm really proud of our guys and how they've handled me all year long. I haven't been easy this year to deal with, in a large part because I do think frustration sets in when you think about things that to a coach sometimes seem so simple, but to a player it may be the first or second time they've ever heard something. So that is a challenge, but they've handled it great, and I can honestly say it's been fun coaching them. I think sometimes the way that we play in the past isn't as available to us now, so we've got to figure out some different ways to do things. But it's been fun for me to try to tweak some things to get the most out of them. So it's been an enjoyable year, but it has been challenging.
Zach Brazil, New York Post. Bill, I know your game yesterday wasn't close, but there have been tons of games so far that have been close where you've had reviews at the end of the games, long delays. Do you think that's good for do you think that hurts the game, these long delays?
You know what? I haven't. I've watched a little bit of the games, but I haven't been able to. Like in our film room, we got TVs going everywhere, and then our film stuff going too. So I haven't been locked in to know of the exact examples that you're referring to. But the long delays aren't good. But I do think this time of year it's more important to get it right than it is to have a delay. So, and I don't know which exact example you're excuse me.
There have been a few of them. I
Okay.
mean, there was, it obviously happened in the Auburn game.
Oh yeah, that was obviously
Right.
And the thing about those situations that is unique, even though we look at it as I think people that watch it on television as fans or in the stands as fans, and it's taking too long, but it also plays into strategy too much, because you give a team an extra timeout that doesn't have one, or you allow a team to have to defend something when they wouldn't have had a timeout to put something in at that second. So from a strategic standpoint in a late game, it certainly comes into play, and that's one of the unintended consequences, I believe, of the reviews and delays. But I still think this time of year it's more important to get it right than it is to rush through it.
Bill, when your team's playing against a team like Auburn, who leads the country and turning the ball, making their opponents turn the ball over, is that something you talk about even more with your team about, protecting the ball and hammering that home? Or
Yeah. And we haven't. You've seen us. We haven't been great this year in ball security. During stretches, we've been times we were really good, and times we haven't been, and certainly a big key to playing them tomorrow from an offensive standpoint will be the elimination of. We'll turn it over some. I mean, we're going to do that, but the live ball turnovers where they can create numbers in transition or shoot threes in transition, things like that. So we're going to careful is not the right word. We're going to need to be very strong with the ball.
Coach, obviously you guys had a very comfortable margin of victory. Auburn's game went down to the last second, very emotional, intense game. Does that give either team an advantage or disadvantage in your mind moving forward?
I personally don't think so. I think we read into those things. So if I'm coaching, if we had the same game that Bruce had, I would say, hey, that was perfect. It played out perfectly. And then if we had the game that we had, I'd say, hey, that played out perfectly. But you know, they've been in real game pressure, which could be an advantage for them. But you know, who knows? I mean, I think we try to make so much of things like that, and I'm not sure that there's an exact science to which one it benefits more.
Hey, Coach, just a general basketball question. When you look at sort of like the top 5 or 10 guys who leave college and go to the NBA over the last few years, do you think the tournament impacts their status at all? I guess that'd be the best way to put it.
You know, statistically, I can't answer that, but from me just thinking off the top of my head, I would say the tournament certainly enhances it. I would say there's been many times where the tournament hasn't hurt anybody, but has certainly helped a lot. And you know, you could go back over, you know, just think of Steph Curry, for instance. That would be the first one that comes to mind with me. And then, you know, I'll be honest with you, there's some players playing collegiately right now that if they don't have a great tournament, they're still going to go at the very top of the draft. I mean, we've seen them too much. But I do think it can really enhance. But for, you know, maybe a fringe guy, maybe it would hurt a little bit, but I don't see it that way. I think there was a lot of guys at Villanova last year that benefited from the NCAA tournament.
More questions?
Devon Dotson's obviously had a great year for you as a freshman. He's matched up against Jared Harper tomorrow. Both players very quick. Jared has obviously more experience. Quite a challenge, but I guess you could say that at just about every position for you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, well, when you start 4 freshmen, we're going to be seeing some things that we haven't seen before. You know, there's nobody in our league that plays like Auburn. You could say maybe when West Virginia with Miles and Carter back there, but it was still different. But at least the pressure of every possession, you know, they put pressure on you defensively most every possession, but offensively they put pressure on you most every possession as well. So it is different. But Devon will have his hands full. But hey, he's risen to the challenge. I love his mentality. I love his talent. I love his toughness, and it'll be a big challenge for all our people tomorrow, all our guards. But it'll be one I think that they'll welcome and really looking forward to.
Zach Braziller, New York Post. Bill, you talked a little bit about the challenge of this year. You know, obviously the regular season run ended. But does what you do with the tournament, could that kind of change how you look at it and change maybe how people back in Lawrence look at this year?
I think so. You know, I've always thought you can win your league, you can win your conference tournament, you can do whatever, but if you don't play well in the tournament, it's just a good year. You know, you have to do well in the tournament to take it from a good to a great. And even though, you know, I shouldn't apologize for being a 4 seed, but even though the year didn't go exactly as we had it scripted, I do think in our fans' minds and certainly in my mind, in our players' mind, you know, it takes the sting off of that totally if you perform very well in the tournament. So, you don't get a ring for winning a game in the tournament. You get a ring for winning a championship, and we've not done that twice in the conference in the postseason. So the only way that we'd have a chance to get a ring would be to advance and advance quite a ways. I do think the opportunity to get to a second weekend, of course Auburn has the same opportunity, is something that I think our guys will look at and say, considering everything we've been through, this has been a really good season. Still not great, but really good with a chance maybe to build on it.
More questions? Okay, thank you, Coach.
Okay, thanks.